What's up, everybody? We are back for another edition of Let's Talk Live. Primo, what's up, man?
Hey, buddy. Glad you could make it.
Yeah, I'm about ready to throw this computer out the window. Can't wait for my new one.
Right?
So we go ahead. I'm just all frazzled right now, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're here. I think I am.
You're here.
Dude, we're here. What's going on? This smack around the world we're hearing right now. I'm sure that you've seen the video. I don't know, man. What do you think? What do you think about this?
Somebody gets smacked in the face.
You think it's real?
I don't want to even go there. Like, I just say it's one of those things of going, I know the ramifications are real. So whether you want to believe it's fake or not, the things that are going to happen, the repercussions that are already happening because of how it went down. The other thing is that the Oscars are they announced this afternoon that they're investigating it. They're going to go full head, even though Chris Rock refused to press charges with it. They're going to start a full investigation. There's a good chance that Will Smith will get beat. Everybody has kind of alluded to the idea that he may lose his Oscar. That's not going to happen. Whoopi Goldberg is on the field there, so there's zero chance. I think that's going to happen. I don't think they'll pull the trophy. Do I think he's going to get invited back? How it'll affect in the future? I think it's all going to blow over in some respects, but like I said, the ramifications that could happen for this, they're all real. So, I mean, if you faked it, you certainly didn't do a very good job of having everybody on board. If everybody was like, if Chris Rock said, no biggie, I'm not pressing charges. If the Oscars said, no, it's okay, it's cool that he did what he did, I would probably say, what's up? But a lot of people posted today supporting it, and people who've all supported it, a lot of people that went back and deleted tweets because it's supporting violence and it's stuff that Twitter doesn't support. So they'd rather take their own stuff down and get it taken out. Mm-hmm.
You said a lot of celebrities were tweeting that they were supporting what Will Smith did.
There was a good group of people that had supported it and said, basically that it was okay for him to go up and smack somebody in the face like that. And they all took their tweets down. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's something that it's very interesting because like I said, like we always know, the internet doesn't forget. So, but it's very telling to say that at first, you guys are supporting this violence. The speech is violence kind of thing that a lot of these guys read into, and now there's real violence associated with that, and it's something that a lot of these platforms don't think that they can support. So, like I said, the ramifications for this is not just one thing. We're seeing a cascade of different things that are going to come from it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of weird when I saw the video. I mean, I thought it was kind of weird when I saw the video, and I know a lot of people have been saying, like, if you go over and watch it, I know we've probably watched it 1,000 times over, but it's almost like, I thought it was just strange. Like, Will Smith comes on stage, you kind of didn't know what he was going to do. He kind of charges up to Chris Rock, stops, and you're like, all right, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, it's just this punch or slap or whatever, open hand slap.
Right.
And it was weird because at first when I saw it, it almost looked like Chris Rock kind of saw it coming. There was an adjustment to the body. I don't know. That's kind of what I was seeing. But then apparently now, everybody's confirming this was real. If it's set up, and I know that the Oscars have been having a lot of issues with ratings. If it's set up, Chris Rock can take one hell of a hit, man.
That's but that's like you were saying. A lot of the stuff when it comes to faking something, it's very difficult if you do something real, it's very easy to roll with the flow of it. If you do it and it's fake and they're just doing it for ratings, it's going to be very difficult to cover something like that up. Somebody at some point goes, hey guys, none of that was real. Right. And then you get the information, but us in the audience, I mean, I know people are slowing it down and doing all this other stuff. You know what? We're the audience. We didn't set any of that up. We don't have anything to do with it. So until something gets leaked, I'm going I'm gonna take my hand out of that pot before you know what I mean, until we get more info on it.
So Joe's saying, he says, I feel like it's definitely a
Yeah.
work for ratings. And listen,
Mhm.
I don't know. We don't know how deep this is going to go. Obviously,
Mhm.
there'd be some type of investigation, because the way, like Primo was saying, it's violence. It was open violence. It was during an award show. All the things that are around these types of things. You have to protect the integrity of the show, and if it's the biggest work in history, then the Academy Awards, the people that are involved are going to have a lot to explain to, and it's gonna kind of tarnish, I think, that whole, I guess, legacy. I mean, I don't watch the Oscars anymore, but that whole legacy of the Oscars. And if this ends up coming out, you may never see this on TV ever again.
Well, here's my thing, and I wanted to read this too because this is the real breaking news right now. Was 1 hour ago, Will Smith
Oh, hang on one
had
second.
a did his public apology. It was the first time he did a kind of a half apology when he received his award, but it was still kind of, some people was like, I don't know, like, he's talking love, but he's punching people in the face. How does that work?
Right.
Well, 1 hour ago, Will Smith had posted up violence in all its forms as poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are part of the job. That's something that I think is key here, is that, you know, this is what you do. Your people are going to be criticizing you, if not more now. But a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much. One thing Chris Rock said, he was not aware that she had a medical condition, whether that's true or not. But he followed up with, I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris, which is the first time he actually said Chris's name and directed at him. I was out of line and I was wrong. I'm embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. And there's no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. And, he goes on to apologize to the Academy, the Williams family, and the King Richards. Deeply regret my behavior. And at the end, he put, I am a work in progress. That is a very telling post right there. That was right after basically the Oscars had said, we're going to continue an investigation with it. And basically, we expected him to kind of double back on something. This was posted on his Facebook, like I said, an hour ago. Didn't expect something like that, but that was really telling of saying, hey, by the way, I made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were saying, whether it's fake or real, somebody coming up and going, hey, I shouldn't have done that. So
Yeah, Basil Bezel saying poor Will broke down because I think he realized how hard his marriage has been. Yeah, and I mean, this has been kind of documented. They've come out, and I think they were doing some podcasts together, some table podcast, and they were talking about the issues in their marriage. And look, it sucks. It's not, marriage is a tough thing, and love is a strong thing. And when you have issues among, in your marriage, and you're struggling to try to find maybe that center, maybe you get caught up in the moment, just couldn't take it. I don't know. I
what
mean,
the Rubin
um,
report were saying today that they have an open relationship. Now he was basically, that's third hand. That's the first time I'd heard of that, but saying that they have an open relationship, that to me kind of means Jada is doing whatever she wants to do. And I highly doubt that Will Smith's getting on that train. So there comes a point when I'm kind of like, people would say, oh, he's defending her. And I'm like, you're defending her, but how is that affecting you? You know what I mean? How much defense do you have to be? When do you just say the point of like enough's enough kind of thing? I don't know. He was laughing at the very beginning of it. And I felt like Jada looked over and said, you better get your butt up there and do
right.
something. And that's when he took the move. And so
I'm like 50-50, man. I'm sorry. I'm 50-50.
you can be 50-50.
It could, it could be a work, maybe they practice. I don't know. I don't know. But I'll tell you, Chris Rock took one hell of a slap, and I mean, it was a pretty good wind up. So if that's true, and it's true, and the hit is true, then
I think he kind of,
Rock
I
got one
think it
hell
was
of a
so
chin.
funny. I think he went up there with the intention, he thought about it, then he took the swing. And I don't think he put a lot of stump on it. I don't think it had enough to really, like, it was a slap. It wasn't a punch.
Mhm.
It's one of those things that go like, you want to lay somebody out, man, you right cross. I think that we'd be having a different conversation right now. I think he went up there and just, laid a smack on him, and that's not as big a deal. And then, like I said, when he sat down, his more of his words yelling across the room was
Yeah.
like the real telling stuff. The guy that I really appreciated and was like, if you want to have somebody in your corner, Denzel Washington last night, really seeing, we saw the overview between the commercial breaks and Denzel running in and kind of just getting behind him and saying, this is how it is. And this is how it is. And he even quoted him in one of his statements there. He's like, this is your grand moment. This is the point, I think, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the devil will line up to come get you. But Denzel has a very good way of words, and he's also one of those guys, and you could just see him when he's looking at him. He's like, I'm here to do a job. And I have a lot of respect for that guy for that. So
I agree. I agree on all your points. I'm just still, there's just a part of me. It's like, there's the reality of it, and then I have to look at the biz size too, where I'm looking and I'm like, the Oscars have really been struggling the last couple of years. It's all going to come out. I mean, and I hope it's not a work. I really don't, because again, I think it goes back to what I said before. It tarnishes the whole Oscars, how much you watch it or don't watch it. It tarnishes that whole legacy of the people that have worked hard and won those awards.
I'm just gonna say this: the Oscars has been tarnished way, but for the last 2 years. I mean, a lot of people posted to me and said the Oscar, if there was no Smack, I wouldn't even know the Oscars happened, and nobody continued watching it. The Oscars has been, and I'm sorry if somebody somebody can get mad at me at this. It's been a joke, and it's gotten more of a joke over and over and over again. The content of the movies that we have today are embarrassing. There's probably one or two movies that I would watch that used to be. I mean, especially like as we came up to the Avengers days when I was like, done with Star Wars, because Star Wars is now crap. We came over to this new thing and did some Avengers stuff, and I was like, well, maybe there's some kind of hope. And then they redid The Matrix, which was like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
And the thing is we don't write movies like we did. A bunch of kids write these movies, and I'm sorry if people take that personal. It is what it's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. When you have a bunch of 5-year-olds write stories, and they come out looking like junk, have real writers, real people that have some thick skin, that are willing to write some real volumetric stories with real things behind them. And yeah, then that stuff means something. But right now, your trophies they're gifted to you. They don't, I seriously, I don't see the value in even having one of them now. Before, like, I was an actor, I would have been loved to have an Oscar. Today I'd been like, that's a joke. I don't even care. Like, if you won one, congratulations, put it on your mantle, resell it in 20 years.
So Joe's saying Chris Rock has a new tour he's currently on. I'm assuming it was a work that only Will and Chris knew about. Possibly, there's a lot of angles you can throw at this. I think this is the
Rage tour.
I think the strange thing about all of this is, you sit here and you listen to the, especially the last 4 years, the Oscars, all the ideologies that have been kind of thrown into it. It's become very political, and they talk about violence, and they talk about people hitting, all these violence, gun violence, people hitting people, and then you have probably some of these people that have spoken up about this stuff come out and actually do it. Like Will Smith probably has spoken up about hitting or violence, and we need to take away, but yet they star in movies that have violence and get paid to act out violence. So
well, Arnold Schwarzenegger was like, and the thing is like, a lot of times, and I have a lot of respect for Arnold, but he was one of those guys that came out and said, we don't want to do any fighting, we don't want to do any war, don't do nothing, banned the 50 caliber in California. And here's a guy that drives a freaking tank. Like, you, come on, buddy. Like, what are you doing? So
we gotta imagine if they changed the trophy to one of the
slappies. Yeah, the slappies.
It's just a big hand.
Okay, Basil, I would watch that.
What do the 5 fingers say to the face? Go ahead, Joe. What do we got? I don't know.
This is a joke that will linger, won't it?
There was one that was saying today on the radio. It was like something about Will Smith or Fresh Prince or something
Yes.
like that. You got Fresh
So
Prince.
he had one little fight and his auntie and uncle sent him to Bel Air. So
Oh
I
God.
have to say that was, of the ones I seen today, that was the funniest. So, and the worst part was I saw somebody post it. I tried to throw the meme up real quick, and before I even got it up, somebody had already posted something about it. I was like, that was pretty funny. So, yeah.
Oh, I hit the bell. I hit the bell. Ding,
I
ding.
think that meme deserved the bell. So, right. The best. Oh, did you see the one with what is it? Peter Griffin. There's a scene from one of the shows where he runs up and punches the dude in the face. So they're running up, and you just see the Peter Griffin, and he's like, and that was like the last scene. It was great, and it showed Will Smith at the top of it.
Hilarious. Can I play the video just one more time so we can watch it?
I know you're. Do you want this morbid thing to continue on? These poor people.
I know you don't like.
Guys, I want to apologize. He really likes this video.
I want to break it down again because I don't know, man.
Well, if you give me a slow mo on it.
All right. We'll slow it down.
Can you get that? Yeah, there you go.
Here we go. Let's bring it down.
1.25 or the 0.5.
0.5. All right.
Yeah,
let's see here. It's gonna go. I'm gonna cut the sound though.
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at this. See how he's leaning, dude? No, he clocked him. No, you're right.
Yeah, go back and see it again. Yeah, he did. Look, his arm go up like, whoa,
it's an open hand slap, bro. Yeah, but it's almost weird that he's leaning into it. That's what
the thing that everybody's going by. There's an overhead shot, but it's not a moving shot. I thought it was, and I was like, if it's there, I can find it. But there's an overhead shot that really has a real good close up of it. See, his hands come out of his pockets once he gets popped. He's kind of like, whoa, what was that? But he didn't like look at Will's form here. Like, what was that, buddy? Like, he expected him to punch him back, or what was that, man? Hook up with that right and lean into it. Like, come on, buddy.
Well, Chris Rock, watch, his hand comes out like he's gonna hit him back. Watch, right there.
Right.
You see Will kind of back up like they were gonna go at it.
Yeah.
See it right there.
Right. I think he thought he was gonna jump at him from behind.
I do too. And he kind of.
I don't see him leaning into it. I see him walking up like he's going to get in his face and say something. And so he kind of leans into it to be like, what you going to do, buddy? And that's when the hand comes directly up.
So Basil says it reminds me of when the guy sprayed water and Will. Yes, there was a guy that was doing that. Have you ever seen the Tom Cruise one when he goes,
yes,
wait a minute. Why did you do that?
Right.
Why did you do that?
Why did you do that? Yes.
I mean, you don't know what that is. It could be piss. It could be, like muriatic acid, anything. Yeah. I mean, but I just want to, can I please play it full speed?
Yeah, please? Of course you can. You're addicted to this thing. It's scary.
I just think it's funny. Boom.
The best part is the only thing that picks up the smack is the microphone.
Japanese broadcast.
Yeah, this is the only one that didn't get
right here.
They didn't edit it.
Dude. It was a G.I. Jane joke.
G.I. Jane no joke だったんです。
I'm going to. Okay.
That's real.
Yeah, it's real. That's what I'm saying. That's
okay.
Yeah.
I think he's like, okay.
I have Chris Rock's like, I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, he didn't. He was lost.
He handled it like a boss, though.
But he did. He walked in the back, and I'm sure somebody said,
to give a documentary out, to give an Oscar out.
He was rattled, dude.
Yeah. So he walks in the back, and I'm sure somebody says, dude, she's suffering from like a pattern
alopecia.
Yeah, I can never remember the name of it. But anyway, she got little spots in her hair that went away, so she just decided to shave her head off. She's not the only person that suffers. Tons of people suffer from it. There's no known reason that we found for having it. Most of the time, people blame it on mass amounts of stress, and I could see why that would be true. But I'm sure he walked in the back, and they said, by the way, she's really suffering from something. She didn't do that as a thing. And he was like, oh no, like, I'm not pressing charges. I'm sorry that happened. Like, he just kind of came out and just rolled with it and said, nope, I'm not pressing charges. I'm not even, it wasn't just he was pressing charges. It was something that they said that he wouldn't even like testify that it even happened. The only thing that the police have is the video to go by. And the thing is they said, look, if he's not going to do anything about it, there's nothing we can do. And that left it in the Oscars' hand to take action. So, is he going to be banned from the Oscars forever?
Bottom
question.
line, the Oscars are not going to say prosecute. Chris Rock's not going to say prosecute. I mean,
though they
all
can't.
that shit.
Right.
But you might see they could probably do a personal lawsuit, right, for the injury or whatever. I mean, the embarrassment.
Well, no, because you'd have to prove injury and not. Okay, I'm not a lawyer, but from what I know, which isn't very much.
We are not lawyers. We're not giving legal
before
advice.
We even start that, but. To have anybody can sue anybody for anything, but you have to have damages. And they just had the biggest night of they're going to be talked about. This will reverberate into next year. So if you say, what damages do you have? They can go, we made more money. They're going to laugh at them. So there's nothing they can do from that end. But as a board in the Oscars, they can say banned for life or banned for the next 3 or do this and do this, and you can come back and they can set stipulations. Like I said, I'm going to say this again. Whoopi Goldberg's on the staff or the governance body or however the Oscars work. There are certain people that are on that board that have a certain level of, I'm going to say it like this, bias towards Will Smith. So they're going to make a little show, just like they did with the tweets. They're going to do whatever they have to do, and then they're going to sweep it under the table, and next year they're going to, maybe they'll tell them next year, like, hey, skip it or sit in the back or, please don't punch anybody. And this will all blow over. Like, it's the way it's going to go. And here's my thing is to stop making a world where people want to punch each other. And then you probably won't have as many problems. So that's the other thing. Like, I hate to say it, but there's a lot of people, and I agree from both sides of it. 'Cause there are people that kind of say, some people say they're deserving. Other people say violence is never supposed to be supported. You have to be honest and say, some dude comes up and says something to your wife and makes a crack at her joke and about something that she's really going through. I'm sorry. I mean, like, I would be hard pressed to say I wouldn't pop somebody in the face for that. And that
wait a minute. I'm going to cut in on that one.
Go ahead.
Why do you have to go? All right. So there's a lot of, let me just get to some of these chats really quick, because I'm going to debate you on this one here,
please.
Or maybe just to make another. So I got Wings and Watches upvoted. What's up, buddy? How are you? Thank you so much for coming over and upvoting, and also sent a $2 super chat. Give him a bell for that one. Don't mess with the Fresh Prince. Laugh out loud.
That's right. Yep.
So here's my thing on all of this.
Yeah.
Why would you have to go up and punch someone? Why not? Wait, listen, hear me out. Why not just sit from your seat and yell at them and just say, keep your my wife's name out of your fucking mouth, instead of running up on stage and screaming? Or how about this? He goes up and screams at him in his face and doesn't touch him, screams at him, but he had to hit him.
Here's the thing. I'm an actor. And I would never, there's one thing that I would never do is interrupt a major production of any kind. So when it comes to me, if he said something to me, I would say, I'll see you out back, buddy. You know what I mean? That's all it would be. And if he laughed about it or said something, I'd be like, and I would tell, hey, cameras, you want to see something interesting? Me and Chris Rock are going to be out in the back when this is done. I will see you and we will have an issue.
But why?
That's how I would deal with it.
Of course.
But the thing is the way he handled it, and I think that was the deal, and that's what everybody has a question about.
Well, and here's the issue too. If you're seeing this and he loses his temper so quickly like this, is this being displayed at home as well? And I know, but maybe he has a little bit of an anger issue. We don't know. Maybe.
Just gonna say it. I think that there's some.
We're speculating.
I think there's some open relationship. Some open relationship issues that are going on that may have caused a little bit of strife. And she is maybe saying some things to say, hey, you better get your butt in gear and do whatever you're going to do, or I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And she's making threats. And that's the thing is I mean, you'd be amazed at what women can do when they're in the control situation. So
Roar the Tiger says, I understand Primo's point. It's not an excuse, but it's an explanation.
Right. Yeah. Not so here's the thing. You do not have to agree with what Will Smith did. Some of it you have to understand. But I think the idea is that nobody completely 100% agrees with the actions that he took yesterday. And we are going to be debating it for a long, long time and trying to figure out what happened. Or people are just going to say it was fake and they're going to sweep it under the table. And the thing is I think they all have a position that in some respects are valid based on what they see. And there's not enough information out to really make a final, here's the gavel, it's all over. And I'm wondering if there ever will be. That's the other thing, because we're not in his house right now. We don't know what happened. We just saw one public thing. It is what it is.
His kid, what's his kid's name? Jaden.
Yes, Jaden.
Right after it happened, there's a tweet, and it's probably deleted now. I'm not sure.
Oh, wow.
But there was a tweet that went out, and he said, "This is how we handle things in our house."
Whoa! All right.
You get smacked.
All right then.
And
well, I don't think I'm wondering if I wonder if somebody looked in afterwards and was like,
"Yeah, you might want to take that down, buddy."
Yeah.
Let's see.
Can you imagine coming home? I don't know, buddy. Maybe we should talk before you tweet in the future.
Stories
that could have definitely went the wrong way.
So People Magazine, here it is right here. It says tweeting. Awesome,
buddy.
Jaden Smith tweets, that's how we do it after Dad Will Smith hits Chris Rock.
I think maybe he's just saying that Dad likes to punch people that, offend his mom or something. So, and that's how he did. That's such an open-ended post. Like, come on.
Bro.
Yeah. I mean, but you would still, like I said, you might want to walk in and tell them, like, by the way, before you post certain things like that, can you, approve the post before you send it out? Like, yeah. Like, does he punch other family members? Like, there's a lot of things you could read into that. I'm not gonna fill in the blanks too much.
So, I mean, obviously now, to clean this up, again, there's going to be an investigation. There's going to be a lot of this is going to be the talking point the next week out of everybody. Oh, Christ, we're doing it tonight.
Right. Nobody knows about Ukraine right now. They know all.
Right.
Yeah.
You got that talking point. Obviously, Will Smith comes out, does kind of a half-hearted apology at this point. He's going to have to do a major PR turn on this now. Maybe say, hey, I'm going to check myself into a rehab or, or something to get some advice on my anger,
If I was... So here's my thing. If I was anybody out there and I was able to figure out exactly what would happen, find out if Will Smith has already secured his publicist. If he's secured a publicist and started spending money on him, then, oh yeah, not only is it real, but he's in damage control. And the thing is there's a lot of ways to get out of this, right? The beauty is Will Smith is like he's such a clean guy that it's very difficult for anybody to, I mean, that he did his speech at the end and the whole thing was blowing up about people like how awesome Will Smith is. And the thing is everybody likes what he does. He does recite love. He does take these characters that, like in the movie Concussion and this last one that he made, which I'm dying to see because I love the whole story behind it.
Pursuit of Happiness was great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Pursuit of Happiness. Like, he's just taking these very strong, heartfelt roles, and you can tell that those are coming from inside. So I think a lot of people are already on the verge of saying, Will, when you take your award there, and he won the award too, by the way, at the end. So here's the thing: do you
think you should have been allowed to go up there though?
The show must go on. I mean, what are you going to do? There's no Chris Rock up there to punch, so just look at everybody.
Chris Rock should have walked right up there and
that would have been a weird moment. Can you imagine? He's like, I want to accept my award, and he's in there with tears, and all of a sudden you see this hook like poof,
fucking manhandles him from behind.
Like
turns into a full WWE wrestling match.
Rear naked choke, full blown suplex on the stage. Like, yeah, that would have been, yeah. Can you? That's then the Oscars would have freaked out. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, international businessman, a multicultural says Will used to slap Carlton
That's
too.
Right. Yeah.
Wings and Watch says, well, I mean, if you watch Will Smith's YouTube channel, They have been on a journey, and this could, I see the old school way of standing up for your woman, not to say it's correct. You know,
they've been on a journey. Whenever somebody tells me they've been on a journey, that's never a good sign for me. Because you're like, why do you need to be on a journey when everything was perfect before, and suddenly you need to be on a journey? I don't know.
And then Wings and Watches also saying it's TMZ that will spin the shit out of this. Of course, yeah, I mean, of course. You know, the thing that I have to look at it though too, you know, and this goes back to the solid point in all of this, the way that I look at it. Look, you know, like I like movies and I like violent movies and all that stuff, but it's like, again, over the last 4 years, all we've heard about is, you know, standing up against violence, and we can't violence this, and we can't violence, and then you have the people that are pretty much preaching to us about this act out. Well, I would say one person that acted out in this and had a display of violence on TV. I mean, worldwide TV.
Right. I'm going to double back on this and go what Wings and Watches said.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that here's people that say violence is not acceptable, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of stuff where they accept violence, but on the whole, they're like, you know, violence is not acceptable. But watch how the media uses this. TMZ would be the number one person on that list of, you know, we're going to take this and we're going to run this story into the ground. Like it'll be about his move to watch TMZ or somebody like that come out with a thing that says that he has to go to anger management therapy and he's plans and all this stuff. Half of it'll be real, but the majority of it will be just to push their ratings and their click-throughs, and their clickbait will get worse and worse as people try to capitalize on the situation. And I'm glad Wings and Watches said that, because it's like it is so dead on.
Shows us next year's host, The Rock, and there's been memes about Mike Tyson coming out and doing the hosting next year. So I mean, all the memes are gonna fly.
Can you see The Rock coming out there and he goes, you know who won an award today? It doesn't matter who won an award today. Yeah, that would be
man.
Show. I say bring back Ricky Gervais, man. That was the one time that I was like,
great.
That was I watched that video. Just gives and gives and gives. It just never.
Who did
stopped.
It forever? Was it Billy? It was Billy Crystal that did it forever, right?
I don't remember.
Or is that the Emmys?
I think it
or
was
these
somebody
the same
else.
thing.
No, it's not the same thing. But yeah, there was one guy that I think
Emmys are the daytime awards. That's right.
Yeah.
And the Oscars, I think it was Billy Crystal for the longest time.
I like that Basil's thing there. That's what I'm talking about.
MTV. That show is great.
Yeah.
The death matches, those were great.
Yeah. The claymation was just, you know, you come out and be like, he ripped the dude's head off and one guy would have no arms left, but he beat the other. I'm like, that was great. The other thing was when they had the stuff, remember when they had like Joey Botafuco wrestling some girl or something like that and all that craziness. I was like, oh man, like it just, I don't know. Do we bring that back? Maybe that would fix the problems.
It would be the celebrity death match. That would literally be on like the next day. They would make one of those the next day. Like Will Smith versus
the get him in a box. You know, it'd probably help him out. Ferris says Crystal. But I think that would help him out to come out and just be like, you know, guys, you guys have issues with each other. Put the boxing gloves on. Let's go in the ring. Enough of this Mayweather versus what do you call it? Pootie Pie or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Jake Paul. Like, dude, let's have a real fight. I think that would be an interesting fight.
Maybe they do something for charity. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, like you said, the publicist comes out and says,
did Chris Rock make any formal apology to Will Smith? I mean,
I thought he said something, or he did say something, and obviously I think his biggest apology is saying I'm not pressing charges. So that's, I mean, that's Will Smith getting brought out in cuffs if he pressed charges. That's just the reality.
So Chris Rock does, let me pull this up really quick. So Chris Rock does Will Smith apologized. Chris Rock also calling unacceptable and inexcusable. That's what we just heard. Yeah. Here's his. So yeah, I mean, Chris Rock really hasn't. I don't think he said
the headline from last night's Oscar.
Yeah. I'm not gonna play that. I'll get.
I don't want to get taken down again.
Seriously. So yeah, I mean, this will be interesting to follow this over the next. It's going to be a flash in the pan. It'll be a couple days, and you're not going to hear about it.
I give it a week. They'll run with this. Yeah. Well, the thing is they're gonna they're going. It's the story will be over, but they'll be like I said,
Yeah.
the last one will be. Will Smith is considering being committed, or Jada said that he was being committed to anger
That'll be on the
management
Inquirer. Yeah.
with Jackie. Was it what's his name? What's the guy that played the first Joker there? I can't remember his name now. Jack Nicholson. So it'll be Jack Nicholson with Will Smith, and they're working it out, something like that.
You're gonna see like the headlines for like the Inquirer or whatever, the Sun magazine. It would be like cheating Will Smith, 10 women, all this shit.
Yeah. So Jada was upset that night because he'd been with 10 women the night before. And then, Chris Rock set the whole thing up. And the next tour that Chris Rock will be on will be the bitch slap tour or something like that. It'll be something crazy. So
let's see. Joe says Diddy said they made up at the after party, allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, I don't think it was simple. Chris Rock did not know what he was saying. He made a joke. It was done out of poor taste in context. And he just said it to him because he says, "Oh, it's a friend of mine. I think I can make this joke." And he did it. And
because he even said, he was like, "Oh, come on. That wasn't even that."
He was like, "That's not that bad.
Yeah,
it's just what it is." Right.
But
that's the thing is the media can't let that do that. They can't let that die. Because if they go like, "Oh yeah, those guys, they were fine. They went out back. They kissed and made up. They both put boxing gloves. They boxed each other a little bit." He went over and hugged Jada and said, "I'm wicked sorry. If I had known that was true, I never would have made the joke." If that came out, it'd be the end of the story. Nobody would hear it. And the Oscars would be like, "Can you guys let the heat go for at least 48 hours?" And then public apologies come in. But that's the thing is nobody's no charges. The Oscars are not, they pretty much said they're not going to take his trophy. That's going to happen. So they're not going to take his trophy. And if they say there's no ramifications from it, then that's it. But if we see the Chris Rock, smack him up tour, yeah, we know this was a big setup.
I mean, the thing, and this is what's crazy too. There's some executive producer just going, "Oh yes, next year is going to be great," and they're going to have this freaking 6-hour build up and 4-hour pre-show, and they're going to talk about it, and it's going to be crazy.
Hosted by Howard
next year are going to be insane.
Is Howard Stern still relevant? Yeah, so like hosted by Howard Stern. Who's the other big guy? Who's the big shot guy now? Who's somebody else that's like, I don't even know if we have like
There's no one, because everybody went woke. That's why. Everybody went woke.
Yeah.
Everybody went,
can't say all that stuff.
Can't say anything anymore.
Right.
Guys.
Oh, Joe Rogan would be, I know Joe Rogan wouldn't do it, but Joe is getting, he's getting a lot of heat recently about all his stuff, which is weird because somebody that, if he actually punched somebody in the face, not only would he knock him out, but it would be like, well, it's Joe, so I mean, he can do that. So, but
you know what I need right now? What everybody to do? I need everybody to go down and hit that thumbs up button, guys. Yeah. I need you to hit that upvote. Let us know in the chat that you've upvoted.
That's why you put the upvote thing in the little.
That's right in the corner down there with the two.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. I keep pressing my screen right here and nothing's happening.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not interactive. And if you guys haven't already, please go over and follow us on Instagram, Let's Talk Live Podcast. And please go over and look up our Facebook page. I do post exclusive content only.
That's the rumor.
Page. You're not going to want to miss that. So, yeah, I mean, this is next year. I mean, it's a good setup for the Oscars. They'll have some ratings next year because people are going to be curious to watch and see what happens and blah, 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 blah. So, I don't know. Man. I don't know, but I'll tell you.
I'm just trying to find out if I followed our Instagram page yet.
Chris Rock can take one hell of a slap. Though it was cool though. He kept going. I mean, he didn't break at all.
Well, that's like you said. The show must go on. That's just, yeah. But he was like, "That's the best night of television right there." Like he knew it was like that was the best shot I ever took.
And it's embarrassing for him too, I'm sure. Right. And probably embarrassing for Will Smith because he didn't lay him out.
Right. The thing is, like I said, and I've said it before, I was like, it's not what happens during the show. It's how you deal with what happens during the show. And that's, I think he definitely showed his prowess in the moment of being like, I just got punched in the face. Sweet.
He's like, I just got the shit slapped out of me
He
by Will Smith.
took 2 seconds to kind of like get his bearings and just be like, that was a great night of television. Like,
yeah, and that line after he
So-
screwed up some line, and you could tell he was still rattled from, you know, and then he kind of came back around after and got it right. So interesting stuff. But we wanted to jump on and just do a quick show for you guys, and obviously talk about this because it's the trending news right now.
we talking about Will Smith and his time that he moved back to Bel Air. So
yep, we did.
Mhm.
We did. So yeah, I'm sure every other news network and Facebook page and whatever, every social media.
Are you kidding me? My thing is blowing up right now.
Yeah. And real quick, the way I found out about last night was we did our show. I got off. I was doing some edits and stuff like that. I looked on Facebook. I was like, what the hell just happened?
Yep.
And I was like, and I thought that the Oscars were a couple of days before this. So I was like, oh, I'm just seeing this now. And I think I shared it to someone. Someone was like, no, that happened like 20 minutes ago. I was like, what?
No, all of a sudden I hear Jen's phone go bing, 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 bing. And I'm like, that's not right. But you don't think about it because that stuff really happens all the time. We got a lot of stuff going on right now, really. And then all of a sudden she was like, did you see? And my phone starts doing it. And I'm like, whoa, okay, what's going on? And then she goes, did you see this? And I was like, and I'm like, that can't be real. Like it was like, like you were saying, it has to be fake.
Right.
And I thought it was something like, I was like the way they first showed it. And then like your thing there, you got I think it's the Japanese feed or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I pulled that right up and literally I turned on YouTube and every short was Will Smith. Every other video was somebody discussing it in some way, not as good as we do. But but here they are talking about this thing. And I think this is my thing about, and this is why I kind of hate
excuse me,
the first person to the ball game kind of stuff, is all those people that jumped the gun there had no information, didn't have a lot of context to it. Now we've kind of seen, we're really at the back end. Once he sent that apology, that was the thing that really like, there it is, the stone's in. Now there's really nothing that Will Smith or Chris Rock can do at this point. Now it's in the hands of everybody else to kind of, you know, figure out the press on it. And and I think people are still trying to figure it out in their heads, but I think it's pretty cut and dry, I think, at this point. But
I don't know, man. It remains to be seen what happens here. Again, we wanted to just do a spontaneous stream, jump on and talk a little bit about this because I wanted to hear Primo's side, because I actually didn't hear. We didn't actually talk about this before we came on. I said, let's do a show. We tried doing it 40 million times and finally got through it at this time. So
the next year's Oscars will be sponsored by WWE.
Seriously.
So
I mean,
and then you know it's fake. That way,
then you'll know it's fake.
You know,
really.
I really think if the Undertaker, by the way, the Undertaker, and I don't know who dropped the ball here, has just been put into the World Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Really?
Yeah, so he just got it, and that was where I thought we were building up. Is that it would be Will Smith does that, and then the Undertaker walks out and tombstones Chris Rock, and that would have been the show, and I would have been totally invested. But it just never transpired. Think about that though. How do you drop the ball and not getting Undertaker? Like Christian and Edge are in the Hall of Fame, and Undertaker isn't. Like, come on,
rest in peace.
But then, and I think what is it? Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and the Hulk Hogan, kind of the NWO New World Order thing. I think that Vince had said for a while that they weren't going to do that because they left WWE to go to WCW. So he's kind of like, I'm not touching that. But I think with Scott Hall passing, I think it was kind of the time when it's like these guys really deserve the pat on the back that they deserve for going into the Hall of Fame and doing their stuff. So yeah. But
dude,
that Undertaker was just
it sucks too, because like I've I was a big wrestling fan. We did the show about the 90s. We talked about that.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
I've been going back recently over the last, week or so and just watching a lot of the old Razor Ramon vignettes and the stuff at the NWO. And I'm like, dude, he for a big guy, that guy could wrestle. He could work in the ring, man. And it's like
him and Sid Vicious were two of the man. People don't realize like Sid Vicious like ran all the time. Like that was his thing. And it was so weird to think about these guys and they're like gigantic and they just, like
I don't know.
Mark Calloway was, he's probably one of those down to earth human beings you'd ever talk to in your life. Just like, hanging out, he's literally a regular dude, but on his persona, he was just, I mean, him and Kane, man, that was a time when you're just like, I wouldn't, even as a kid, you're kind of like, these dudes are like, and they're huge. Like I had a friend that was one of the guys, a very tall wrestler, and they were doing the thing and they did this picture and here's Undertaker and here's him and I'm doing this like, oh my God, like dude, this dude is really big. Like a lot of these guys, their numbers are kind of boosted. Like I'm 5'11", but I have the same height as you and you're listed at 6'2". Like what's going on there? Like Jericho had the lifts in his boots and stuff.
Yeah.
Mark did not have any lifts anywhere. Like that dude was probably bigger than they had actually advertised him.
But I don't know. I'm really bummed out because I really looked at like just Scott Hall really being one of the, he was really an innovator of kind of turning that new wave of wrestling. You got to look at Hall, Nash, and Hogan. When Hogan flipped and did the heel flip, they were really the guys that started that Attitude Era. And then WWE kind of picked it up and ran with it. And really, they took it and brought it up here. And I always felt like WCW was kind of like, the very amateur, that was very amateur. I think that's what was really what I actually liked WCW at that time a lot better than WWE or F or whatever it was at the time. But I don't know. It's just it sucks. It's a real bummer
I grew up in Mid-Atlantic wrestling. So Mid-Atlantic was the only
Smoky
one.
Mountain Wrestling. I used to watch that.
They were the only guys that didn't give up to Vince McMahon when Vince started buying places up. And they are the ones that became WCW.
Yeah.
So it was really weird to like see these people that I kind of like, this is how I grew up with this group, and to see them being the ones that's like, okay, here's Kevin Nash, here's Razor Ramon. Here's DX. Thank you.
DX took it to like the next level, man.
Here's Hulk Hogan. And all of a sudden these guys saved wrestling and suddenly that turned into was it Raw Attitude Era and that let's be honest. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hulk Hogan created Austin. The Austin era was created from that. The Rock, which was the Nation of Domination back then.
They took Mankind and pivoted him into that Attitude Era. Then Undertaker changed and he went to that American Badass character, which I always thought was the worst fucking character he ever did.
Their response to the NWO was DX, and DX was here's Hunter Helmsley, who had just gotten basically off a suspension.
Rick Rude was part of the original DX.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You had
and that
China.
was, and then they showed up at WCW events to be like with the megaphone and stuff. It was just if you don't realize this, a lot of times when you watch TV shows of wrestling beforehand, there was no main eventers. It was a bunch of jobbers. They'd bring jobbers on for the TV shows, and then they'd have the guys talking. Once WCW came in, they realized if we're going to make a show that anybody's going to watch, we have to bring out the main eventers at every show, no matter what it is. And that really, now everybody's tuning in. The ratings just went through the roof. And I tell you, when Chris Rock joins next year, it's going to get even higher. I'm just
or Will Smith.
The Tombstone. I'm telling you, the next
ECW. I loved ECW, and I used to watch all the simulcast on the Spanish channel on Telemundo at like 12 midnight on like a Thursday night. It was just very weird night. And ECW.
People don't realize it. ECW was like the real deal wrestling.
Oh
everybody. Dreamer had wrestled with a broken back.
Yeah. You had the franchise, Shane
Sabu.
Douglas. You had Sabu. You had Bam Bam Bigelow. You had who's the other crazy guy? New Jack was there.
New Jack. I was gonna say, he's a guy that he was like, you know what? I've been stabbed a couple of times. Maybe I should try this wrestling thing. He was legit, right?
Have you ever seen him throw? What was it, Vig Grimes off the scaffolding? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah,
dude.
I think I did. Yeah.
He's lucky he didn't kill him.
We used to watch that stuff almost religiously, and we had people that went to all the shows, so it was kind of like you know, you hear this crazy stuff. Like Sabu one time cut his arm so bad he cut something and he just keeps bleeding.
He duct
Yeah,
taped his
exactly.
arm
I'm
up. It
like,
was him and
yeah,
Cactus Jack. Oh no, him and
right.
Terry Funk. The Terry
Yeah,
Funk.
Terry Funk, right.
Yeah.
Back when he had knees.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was just that dude. I don't know.
ECW was amazing.
Talk
It
about
was,
people racing.
and then you had, you know, they obviously went bankrupt, and then Vince came in and tried to buy them out and revamp it. It was shit. It never was what it was.
No, because it's supposed to be the beer swilling champions of all times, and just, you know what I mean.
So Joe says, "Hold on, I'm the franchise."
It's
Tell
right,
him
yeah. Joe is indeed the franchise. I thought you were the mayor. I mean, it's Joe, me and Joe's wrestling characters have gone through many changes. So,
anyway,
yeah.
reeling
And
it
on
back
that note, we're at the
in,
50-minute mark, right?
Yeah.
Like and
Anyway.
subscribe. Don't forget to comment.
Right. So we'll give Will Smith the old fighter bell here.
That's right.
We'll see what happens.
Don't ring
here
that
over the
thing
next
around him. The last time that happened, somebody almost got smacked. Well, they did get smacked. Actually.
They did get smacked. So that's going to end it for tonight, guys. We appreciate everybody for hanging out with us for the last almost hour here. We want to do a quick show this evening, and we will be back on Thursday night. Please set your reminders. Mission 22. Shannon Taylor will be joining us, and that is an organization that helps American vets with PTSD. So come over and watch that stream. It's going to be very educational, and we got to do it for the vets, guys. We got to do it for the vets. So that being said, man, what do you think? We out of here? We out of here? All right, man. Let's jump on the mothership and get out. I'm Brian. This is Primo. See you guys next time. Peace.